I was standing beside my car at a gas station one Saturday morning, absent-mindedly watching the numbers climb on the pump while scrolling through my phone. It had become a habit to check the neighborhood discussion page whenever I had a spare minute because someone was always sharing funny stories, local events, or complaints about traffic. That day, however, one post had exploded with hundreds of comments in less than an hour. The anonymous message read, "I want to invite someone over while my wife is away, but her work schedule changes every week. Any ideas on how to make sure I don't get caught?" The comments section was exactly what I expected. Some people assumed it was a joke. Others criticized the person without holding back, and a few sarcastically suggested that honesty would solve the problem much faster than secrecy. I shook my head, thinking it was unbelievable that someone would ask such a question in a public community group where thousands of local residents could see it. I finished filling my tank, put my phone away, and drove toward my favorite coffee shop. The viral post disappeared from my mind almost immediately. Later that afternoon, while waiting for my order, I overheard two people at the next table discussing the same message. Apparently, the anonymous post had become the biggest topic in town. Someone had already taken screenshots because the original had mysteriously vanished only 20 minutes after it appeared. Naturally, deleting it only made everyone more curious. One person claimed they knew exactly who had written it, another insisted the account had been hacked. Nobody seemed to know the truth. By Monday morning, the gossip had reached my office. Even co-workers who rarely paid attention to local social media were talking about the mysterious husband trying to avoid getting caught cheating. During lunch, theories spread from desk to desk. Every new version became more dramatic than the last, with people adding details nobody could possibly verify. I laughed at how quickly strangers could build entire stories from a few anonymous sentences. Then something unexpected happened, around mid-afternoon. Our office manager walked into the break room looking unusually stressed. She explained that one of our longtime clients had called to postpone several important meetings because of a family emergency. The client's name immediately caught my attention. It was Mark. Mark happened to live only a few blocks from the gas station where I had first seen the viral post. Coincidence, I thought. The next day I visited one of our client's offices to deliver paperwork. As I entered the reception area, I recognized Mark sitting alone in the waiting room. He looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded his eyes, and he barely noticed me until I greeted him, after exchanging a few polite words. He sighed deeply. "I've had one of the worst weeks of my life," he admitted. Without asking for details, I simply listened. He explained that someone had created a fake social media account using a photo taken from one of his public profiles. The impersonator had posted outrageous messages in several neighborhood groups before deleting them. Unfortunately, screenshots spread much faster than corrections. Within hours, rumors began circulating that Mark had been planning to cheat on his wife. His wife had seen the screenshots before he even knew they existed. At first, she didn't believe him, neither did several friends, even after cybersecurity experts confirmed that the account wasn't connected to his devices. Many people continued believing the original accusation because sensational stories tend to travel farther than quiet explanations. Listening to him, I immediately remembered the viral post I had read while pumping gas. The timing couldn't have been a coincidence. Mark pulled out his phone and showed me dozens of messages from neighbors apologizing after learning the truth. Others, however, never apologized at all. Some simply stopped speaking to him altogether, convinced there had to be more to the story despite the evidence proving otherwise. "It only took 5 minutes for someone to damage my reputation," he said quietly. "It'll probably take years to rebuild it." His words stayed with me long after we finished talking. A week later, the local police announced they had identified the person responsible. It wasn't a jealous neighbor or a disgruntled coworker. It was a teenager who admitted creating fake accounts as a prank, believing anonymous online chaos was entertaining. He never expected the rumors to affect real marriages, careers, or friendships. The community reacted with mixed emotions. Some people felt sympathy because of the teenager's age. Others believed the consequences should be severe enough to discourage similar behavior. As for Mark, he seemed less interested in punishment than moving forward. He and his wife attended counseling, not because either of them had done anything wrong, but because trust had been shaken by thousands of strangers discussing their marriage before they had even spoken to each other privately. They eventually emerged stronger, though neither of them forgot how quickly a false story could spread. Months later, I found myself back at the same gas station where I had first read the viral message. Standing beside my car, I instinctively opened the neighborhood page again. This time, instead of rumors, I saw people organizing food drives, helping families after storms, and sharing lost pets until they were reunited with their owners. It reminded me that social media itself wasn't the problem. The same platform capable of spreading damaging lies could also bring communities together when people chose kindness over assumptions. Ever since that experience, I've become much slower to believe anonymous posts, no matter how convincing they appear. A single screenshot rarely tells the whole story, and behind every viral headline is a real person whose life can be changed in ways strangers never see. What began as an ordinary stop for gasoline ended up teaching me that the fastest stories are not always the truest ones, and sometimes the greatest damage is done not by the person who creates the rumor, but by everyone who shares it without stopping to ask whether it was ever real in the first place.